What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It has been like 2 months since I've been on here, and for that I am extremely sorry. I know I keep saying that I'm trying to get my schedule figured out, which is true because I've just gone from 2 jobs to 1, and the adjustment's just a tiny bit weird. I also moved in that time, so I'm currently living with my best friend, one of them, Taylor.
Hi.
She's off camera right now doing some stuff. So yet again, we are moving away from the true crime. I know. People are mad at me, and I'm sorry, but
You don't need to be sorry for what you love. What do you want to talk about?
But I do have a true crime video planned. It's going to probably be after this series, which is the Harry Potter franchise. Since there is so much of it, we broke it down into 4 videos. The first one, which is the one that we are doing right now, is like the ancient history, so everything up until like the early 19th century, I believe. And then the second one kind of talks about the Newt Scamander era, which if you kind of follow along with the movies, that is the Fantastic Beasts, which we're going to see the new movie tonight, so you guys will be getting a movie review on that in a couple of weeks.
Was I off camera? Because I was literally like...
Yes, you were off camera.
I was like... Did you see what I was doing?
No?
Okay. Literally looking at my stomach. What's up, people?
But, so you guys will be getting a movie review of that. Probably we'll kind of tie that on into the next video with that, kind of talk about how I felt about it. The third part is the original 7 books and 8 movies. So that's probably going to be the longest video out of it because there's so much to talk about. And then the fourth and final part where we kind of dive into what happens after Harry's all grown up. So that is the Cursed Child era. And I'm super excited to talk about that because honestly, I feel like we were kind of robbed of that content. So let's dive in. There's so much to talk about. The first initial series has 7 books, which follows the main character, Harry Potter, and his friends as they travel through their years of schooling and all of his crazy wild adventures. Like, dude, growing up, I wished I could be a wizard so I could go through all of these near-death experiences. But like any popular franchise, like I've said, there is so much more to it. Like, I don't really support J.K. Rowling right now because of like her comments and everything. I'm not gonna get into that, but I have to admit she is a fucking genius when it comes to creating this entire world. So the first known event that we really know of, which happens in 382 BC, an ancestor of Garrick Ollivander, who is the wand maker in the original OG series, set up the first wand stand in the UK. This later became Ollivander's wand shop. And then in the first millennium, sometime during the Middle Ages, 476 to 1492, Durmstrang Institute is established in Scandinavia. You guys don't know who Durmstrang is. We kind of see them in Goblet of Fire as one of the schools that participates in the Triwizard Tournament. And they are one of, I believe, 11 schools that exist in the Harry Potter franchise. 962 is the first recorded use of flying broomsticks in Europe. And if you don't know, they are used for flight, and they travel, and people play Quidditch on them, which is super exciting because Quidditch is amazing and very, very deadly. People have died playing this game. And then sometime before 976, the 4 heirs of the 4 founders of Hogwarts are born: Salazar Slytherin, Godric Gryffindor, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Helga Hufflepuff. If you guys don't know, my own house is Gryffindor. I am a lion all the way through.
And I am a Hufflepuff.
Which
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it, and I actually see it. Your personality kind of...
How?
You're very loyal, and you kind of want to do things not the easy way, but you're like, I'm gonna work through all the consequences and everything, no matter where it gets me, and I'm just like, let's go do stupid shit. And then in 990, so almost 20-ish years, Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry is established in Scotland.
Cool.
So, whoop whoop.
It's in Scotland and not England?
Nope, it's in Scotland.
Cool, brother.
Castle Bruxo is established in Brazil. It is a matter of some contention which school came first. So there's not really any sure which one came first, so they're just kind of listed. In 993, Salazar Slytherin creates the Chamber of Secrets beneath Hogwarts, which there's a whole freaking book based on it. You kind of got to go read the book or watch the movie to kind of understand what happens, or just stick around for one of my later videos because we will discuss that in depth. And then we're on to the Middle Ages in the late 10th century. Helga Hufflepuff creates her magical cup, along with Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem is created, enchanting it to increase the wearer's intelligence. I kind of wish I had that because I'm kind of dumb.
No, you're not.
I'm not very intelligent either.
Yes, you freaking are.
And then Salazar Slytherin creates his magical locket, enchanting it so that only a Parseltongue can open it. And if you guys don't know what Parseltongue is, that is basically snake language, where you can talk to snakes, which is... Yay! Yes.
We'll have it tonight. When you're awake. When you're at the movie. We'll need it.
Helena Ravenclaw is born also at around this time. She will later attend Hogwarts and be sorted into Ravenclaw House, which is not surprising, as I'm assuming her mother is Rowena Ravenclaw. I'm not really sure. Rowena, same thing. I have a speech impediment. Leave me alone.
Totally different, but okay. Not judging.
While discussing this happens during the 11th century, while discussing how the students will continue to be sorted at Hogwarts once the founders have died, Godric Gryffindor removes the hat from his head and the four founders enchant it with their combined intelligence. From then on, Hogwarts first years were sorted into their houses by the sorting hat.
Yay!
Which came off Godric Gryffindor's head.
Woot woot!
That would be awesome.
Woot woot!
Helena Ravenclaw steals her mother's diadem and runs away from Hogwarts. When the Baron of Slytherin House, who is in love with her, is sent to find her, she hides the diadem. Upon being rejected by Helena, the Baron stabs her to death, then kills himself. The two then become the ghosts of Ravenclaw House, the Grey Lady, and Slytherin House, the Bloody Baron. What a tragic love story. At least my relationship is going alright compared to that. Also, sometime during the 11th century, all four founders die, which isn't shocking.
At the same time, pretty much.
Not during the same time, but it's not exactly sure which date. So, sometime during the 11th century, all of those founders die.
Damn, brother.
Then we jump to the 13th century. Prior to 1214, Antioch Paravel and then his brother Cadamus is born. And then on July 12th, 1214, Ignatus Paravel is born. The three Paravel brothers each receive or create a powerful magical object. Antioch receives the Elder Wand, the most powerful wand in existence. Cadamus receives the Resurrection Stone, which has the power to bring back the dead. And Ignatus receives the Cloak of Invisibility, which has the power to hide the wearer from detection. Legends state that these objects, which came to be known as the Deathly Hallows, were gifts from Death himself. But Albus Dumbledore believes they were created by the brothers, who were themselves powerful wizards.
Wow.
Which makes sense, because So that tells us that Harry, for people who aren't a nerd like I am.
You are not a nerd.
I am very much a nerd. Which tells us that automatically that Harry Potter is a direct descendant of the third Paravel brother because of the fact that the invisibility cloak was only passed from father to eldest son.
Okay, wait. Are invisibility cloaks rare?
Oh yeah, like super rare. Sometime prior to 1290, Buboxian's Academy of Magic is founded in France. So there, we had the 3 schools already from Kitty.
Oh, I didn't like that.
The 3 schools from the Triwizard Tournament that we see in Harry's era have been founded. And then prior to 1292, Antioch Paravel is killed in his sleep the night after winning his first duel with the Elder Wand.
Dang.
So he was... Okay, how old was he? He was... Let's look. Well, we're not exactly sure, but we'll put him about...
I did him gladly.
I'm going to do the math.
Part of his friends. I remember Hermione reading the story.
Mm-hmm. He would have been about 78 when he died, give or take, depending on what year it was. Cadmus Paravel dies by hanging himself after discovering the Resurrection Stone is only able to bring back a spirit version of the girl he loved. So
What? They didn't mention that in the freaking movie.
Yeah, they did. They just didn't say it that way. But she was not herself.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but so she wasn't like fully human, I guess.
Well, as Hermione put it, she said that she didn't feel right in this world.
Mm-hmm. And then 1292, May 19th, Ignatius Paravel dies. So he was the only brother who actually managed to evade death for as long as he did. Because he was smart and not stupid like his brothers.
Good for him.
In 1294, so 2 years after the Paravel brothers died, the first Triwizard Tournament is held between Hogwarts, Durmstrang, and Buboxians. So, cool. That thing likes to kill people.
I love how you know all this stuff, and I'm just like, yeah,
I have a little bit of a problem. In the 14th century, so this is the 1300s, between 1300 and 1326, Nicholas Flamel is born. He's the only owner of the Philosopher's Stone, which you'll learn more about in the Harry Potter era video that we'll get into. After slowly evolving over the course of several hundred years, the first games of modern Quidditch are played with the introduction of the Golden Snitch. Okay, that makes a little bit of sense. And then sometime in that 26-year period, not only was he born, but he also created the Sorcerer's Stone.
woohoo!
For you people who are in the UK who watch my videos, don't know if I have anybody there, it's also known as the Philosopher's Stone. But since I'm from America, I'm going to call it the Sorcerer's Stone, since that's what I know it as. In the 15th century, the Fortress of Azkaban is constructed in the North Sea. So, for basically, we don't really get that till like the 1400s. And then in 1474, Gringotts Bank is established by a goblin named Gringot. Not surprising. It's in the name. And in 1492, on October 31st, Sir Nicholas de Mempsey Porpington is executed via a botched decapitation. Fearing death, Nicholas decides to remain a ghost rather than moving on and becomes the Gryffindor house ghost, Nearly Headless Nick. That name was really hard to say.
Wait, let me see.
Where's it?
Sir Nicholas de Memsey Porpington.
Sir Nicholas de Memsey Porpington.
It's such a funny name.
Yes,
But
it is.
hey, J.K. Rowling made it, not me. Early modern period, which brings us to like the 16th century, and the only thing we really know about that time period is that the Leaky Cauldron was established along with the rest of Diagon Alley. So, whoop whoop. The place we come to know and love where everyone buys their school books and stuff was established in the 1500s or 16th century. And then in the 17th century, and 1627, Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry is founded in the United States. So, if Taylor and I were to go to be witches or wizards, we would go to Ilvermorny, unfortunately.
Wow.
Well, it's not unfortunate because Ilvermorny is just as good as Hogwarts, but
Wait, where would we go?
Ilvermorny.
What's that?
It's the American version of Hogwarts.
Heck no. I want to go to Hogwarts.
And
What?
nothing. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, in 1637, Armando Dippet is born. And then in 1654, Flourish and Bott's bookshop is established in Diagon Alley. So, like, a long time after Diagon Alley is actually established. Scourgers, rogue wizarding mercenaries began operating in North America, tracking down anyone for whom a significant bounty was offered.
Harry Potter.
Yes, but Harry Potter was not alive at this point in time. So they're equivalent to snatchers, which if you guys watch the movies would know they're people who were hired to basically track down anybody who was wanted by the ministry. In 1693, the Magical Congress of the United States of America is founded. The Makusa, I guess we could call it, is what they're called it from now on, begins rounding up scourgers, and bringing them to justice.
Where is it?
Magical Congress of the
No.
United States.
Medusa?
Makusa.
Makusa. Oh, I couldn't see the C. Makusa.
At least one of them escaped, which is an ancestor of Mary Lou Barebone, and we'll meet who she is in the Fantastic Beasts era, which will be in the next video. She's kind of a bitch. Like, I'm just gonna straight up admit it. I hated her when I watched the movies. It was bad. I didn't like her.
Okay, way to be straight with them.
In the 18th century, Azkaban is put into use as a magical detention facility. In 1743, the Daily Prophet begins producing newspapers. And then in 1792, the Triwizard Tournament is suspended indefinitely when the heads of all three schools were injured by a rampaging cockatrice. I'm not really sure what that is, and I don't really want to know. All I know is it's probably a dangerous magical creature. And so, from 1792 all the way till the 1990s is when, that's how long the Triwizard Tournament was like suspended for.
What?
Almost 200 years. In the 19th century, Mikhail Grigorovich is born. And then this same guy acquires the Elder Wand and attempts to duplicate its powers. So obviously through time, the Elder Wand has been passed through several different people. And this is the first major guy that we kind of meet, other than the first Paravel brother. And then in 1830, the first Hogwarts Express railway station is constructed in Hogsmeade. And then in 1848, Steen National Bank is established at 1796th Avenue Street in New York. I'm assuming that's kind of where the bank that Newt and Jacob meet for the first time. And I think their friendship is so pure. Like, I love it.
Dobby, 1, 2, hold on.
And then in 1850, King's Cross Station opens in London. Unbeknownst to its Muggle creators, the Ministry of Magic adds the concealed magical platform 9 3/4 to allow Hogwarts Express to transport students to and from Hogwarts, which is really cool. Wizards do a lot of things that Muggles don't know about.
Good for you. Cool.
Prior to 1854, Henry Shaw Sr. is born. And then in 1863, the antique shop Borgin and Burke's is established on Knockturn Alley. In 1865, the first night bus is first commissioned. And then prior to 1867, Lorena Kama is born. I'm not really sure who she is. I'm sure we'll find out though. In 1875, Henry Shaw Sr. founds Shaw News, whose papers include the New York Clarion. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the first video. I know it was a lot and it was really like all of this information just chucked at you, but that sets up for the rest of the videos. You'll meet more about Henry, Mr. Shaw Sr., who Gregorovich is. You'll meet more of him. And yeah, so stay tuned for the next video because it's about to get deep. Bye!